Hi, and welcome to this episode on my YouTube channel. And today I'm really excited because we're going to be speaking to Kezza Reece. She's an acceptance and adaptation coach, and she's, oh my gosh, what this woman knows, you are going to be in awe of. She's a specialist in neurodiversity and menopause. So how those two go together. She's the first person that I have found who has an understanding of the sort of nature of how neurodiversity impacts your menopause and vice versa. So welcome, Kezza. It's amazing to have you here with us today.
Thank you. Wow, what an intro.
Before we came onto the recording, I was sharing with you that I'd recently found out that there's some really interesting research coming out that our brains go into perimenopause 4 to 5 years before our body does, in the sense that those estrogen and progesterone receptors that we have all over our bodies, the ones in our brains are far more sensitive than the ones in our bodies.
And that makes so much sense for me.
Yeah. So our brains are picking it up before our body is. So that's where you get all of those like executive function issues and the emotional issues and the response issues. So all of those sort of memory, anxiety, depression, panic attacks, all of those come in very early. In fact, anxiety is probably the first symptom that most women report. So, and it makes perfect sense to me. I can say most definitely I was experiencing anxiety from the age of 42. That's 4 years before my physical symptoms came in. And you were saying a similar sort of thing for yourself.
Yes, I mean, I've been dealing with a lot of these issues my whole life, but I definitely noticed that when I hit perimenopause, all the techniques I had been using, because obviously for me, I've been dealing with all of the things that you're starting to deal with, I've been dealing with for 25, 30 years. All the techniques I've been using for 25, 30 years suddenly stopped working for me. So they'll start working for you, but for me, I've had to go absolutely extreme.
Yeah.
Because for me, those things that I've been using don't work anymore. The whiteboard is great, but I have to use it in conjunction with other things.
One of the key points there is if you're watching this and you are neurodivergent and you are thinking to yourself, what on earth is happening to me? Why can I not cope anymore? Why are all of those things that I've been doing all of this time suddenly for nothing? This is the point at which you go, oh.
Absolutely. So if you're on ADHD medication, it's going to stop working. So as women, we already get fluctuations with our ADHD medication around our menstrual cycle. Okay. So when we're already used to that, but if it's now stopped working randomly, or in my case, stopped working at all, you may need to revisit your psychiatrist, doctor, whoever prescribes it for you, your prescriber, to change your medication. I wholeheartedly recommend you get your HRT, because seriously, that has been single-handedly the biggest thing that's helped me stabilize it. You may need to change your dose, you may need to increase it, you may even need to decrease it. Or in my case, I've actually got to change the actual chemical itself. I can't take the medication I've been taking because I'm getting even worse rages and massive headaches. So I actually have to change my medication, so I have to go back into titration. If you know it's coming, perimenopause, you can prepare for it. You know what to look out for, you'll know the early signs, and with being neurodivergent, you'll know that it's not you, it's perimenopause, and there are things that you can do. You're not on your own. It does mean going back to basics.
So ordinarily, what I would do for women who wanted to go to HRT, I would direct them to the British Menopause Society and say that there's find a specialist on the page there, and just put your postcode in and you'll find the NHS and
Same.
Private. So would it be the same?
It's the same.
Do they have to be a specialist in conjunction with ADHD?
No. That's the best bit, is the HRT aspect of neurodivergency is the same as it is for all women or people who are hitting perimenopause. It's about stabilizing your estrogen, your progesterone. That doesn't change because you're divergent.
Okay.
The only aspect of the chemicals that you may need to change for being divergent is if you are on medication specific to your divergency, you may need to meddle with those a bit. So for me, that's ADHD meds.
Right. So as far as your ADHD meds are concerned, what kind of approach should a woman take, in the sense that obviously the NHS is strapped and it's difficult to get appointments, things along those lines?
Yeah, I'm in the queue at the moment for getting my meds changed. I don't know how long that's going to be. So in the meantime, I am boosting my L Tyrosine, tuna, boiled eggs. You can get tablets. I don't find they work for me, but I know you can get capsules. You can absolutely go back and recheck your executive functions. So over your lifetime, your strengths and weaknesses will have changed. So it's worth re-examining those and seeing actually what's causing you the difficulties. And then it's go back to basics. It's bringing in extra tools, techniques, or adapting your environment in such a way that you can cope with it while you wait for your meds to be changed.
Okay.
I mean, some people haven't ever been on ADHD meds. I didn't. I mean, I've only just started on them a few years ago and I actually got diagnosed. I've been coping without them for 20 odd years. The reason I've gone on them is because of perimenopause.
Okay.
It's that extra hitting that I needed. So if you've never been on ADHD meds and you're now hitting perimenopause, do you know what? Give them another try. They may not have worked for you in the past. They may work for you now because that extra change in your brain is changing your chemical makeup in your brain. It is worth reconsidering.
And I think that's brilliant advice. And that's probably a great place to leave it, Kezza, before my brain explodes, because honestly, Kezza, I could talk about this for hours, because when we first had our conversation a couple of years, well, not a couple of years ago, sorry, about 6 months ago, my goodness me, it was a revelation. It has changed the way I think about things, most definitely. So thank you for that. And I learn every time we speak. So thank you for being with me today. Please ensure you subscribe, and I will see you soon. And thank you again, Kezza.